One of the most common things I hear from clients and viewers is, can I go thrifting with you? A lot of people are under the impression that they don't know how to thrift. They don't really know what to look for in thrift stores, or they've gone to a couple and haven't really found anything, so they think it's a waste of time. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 things I look for when I go thrifting. If you're new here, I'm Teresa Elling. Welcome to The Peaceful Home. In addition to having beautiful decor and organization in your space, sticking to your budget is crucial for a peaceful home. I'm going to go through each of the 10 things I look for and show you how I furnished my guest room. I'll wrap it up at the end by telling you how much I actually spent to do this guest room. If you haven't seen the reveal, I will link that below, as well as the playlist for how to decorate a room from start to finish. Let's jump in. Number 1 is linens. I got this brand new threshold rug from Goodwill for $80. You need to catch my curtains video if you want to know how much money I saved buying these beautiful Pottery Barn, extra tall, light blocking linen curtains. I only paid $20, but they retailed for much more. And lastly, the lace tablecloth that I cut up to make these pillow shams was only $2. Number 2, dishes. I'm always on the lookout for dishes, especially glass and white dishes. Like this little pot, I put this ivy in, it was only $1. And this tiny creamer that was $1 as well. These blue and white pitchers I found at Goodwill, and they were $2 for the large and $1 for the small. The third thing I look for while thrifting are books. I love to find hardback, linen-covered books, coffee table books, especially things that appeal to my own interests, hobbies, where I live, or where I've traveled. Most of the books I bought for this guest room were 25 cents, and my total was $8. Number 4, furniture. I'll show you at the end how the bulk of furniture in this room was given to me, including this dresser, but I did redo it with chalk paint, and the paint supplies cost me $15. I do have a video of how I did that, and I just think it's made a world of difference in how this dresser looks. Number 5, baskets. There are times I will go into a thrift store and find absolute junk when it comes to baskets, and other times I find the most beautiful things. I have found baskets that retail between $20 and $50 that I've gotten usually for under $5. This basket is one of my favorite finds. It's sturdy, it didn't have any breakage, and it was only $3. The picnic basket as well was $3, and I think it was such a great price because it was missing its lid. And this cute little trash can was only $1. Number 6 is solid wood. The reason I like to look for wood is that it can be easily sanded, stained, or painted. This stool was $4, and I just realized that it actually shouldn't be in my count because I purchased it a long time ago. I had it downstairs with a plant, and I just brought it up here. So technically it shouldn't be in my budget, but we'll just throw the $4 in. The other solid wood piece in here is this peg rack. It was $3. I find a lot of peg racks at thrift stores. Number 7 is planters and outdoor items. I love looking for pots for my plants, for galvanized metal, buckets, old tools. I recently found some really great terracotta pots and old gardening tools that I can use with my potting bench. This galvanized metal pail that my ficus tree is in was only $2, and this stoneware vase was $3. I often find beautiful things just as they are, but I also pick up things that can be easily transformed with a DIY stoneware technique or with spray paint. Number 8, artwork and frames. Now sometimes I'm looking for artwork and I know I'm going to change out the frame. Other times I have some artwork or photos at home and I'm looking for a frame and I can discard whatever's inside. I bought 16 pieces for this guest room and they cost me less than $50. That's an average of $3 a piece. Number 9, vintage and antique items. Now, obviously, this can apply to every other category I've mentioned, but in particular, I am looking for things that I could find at a local antique store, but I can usually get a much better price at a thrift store. Now, some thrift stores are beginning to up their prices on antique items. This luggage rack, for example, I purchased for $20, and that's pretty expensive for a thrifted item, but I knew that it would probably cost that in an antique store, if not more. It was such a perfect look for this English cottage guest room. This vintage lamp and magazine rack were $1 each. They were pretty beat up. The metal was spotty and corroded in some spots, and I sprayed both pieces with this champagne gold spray paint. One of my favorite items in the room is also a vintage find, and that's this clock. I had been looking for a clock and ended up finding this little one at Walmart. It was the closest I could find to something that looked slightly vintage. And the very next day, I found this clock at a local thrift store, and I think it's beautiful. It's a great addition to the room, and it was $8. The last thing I look for at thrift stores is clothing. Now, that usually is not the first thing I'm going for, which is why it's number 10 on the list. But if I finish looking at all the housewares, I will check clothing. I have gotten some really beautiful name brand items at such great prices. But for the most part, I'll look at a blouse and say, I need to make a pillow out of this. And that's what I did for this room. Both of these pillows were made out of tops, and I used the button up front as my closure for the back of the pillow. I will have a tutorial soon on how I sewed these and how I did the ruffles, and I'll link it below as soon as it's ready. These two shirts only cost me $3. Over on the peg rack, I have a denim shirt, which I actually thrifted, but quite some time ago, and this hat that I picked up for $3. Included in my budget are the few things that I purchased new. First off, these pillows from Target, and I purchased 2 of them for $20 a piece. Next, the pink throw at the end of the bed. The color and the texture were just perfect, and I found that at HomeGoods for $20. I did need to buy the 2 pillow inserts for the lace shams that I made, and I was definitely on the hunt for a lamp at thrift stores, but I didn't find anything in time for the reveal, and so I purchased this new lamp on Amazon. I will link it below in case you're interested in it. My new items totaled $160. I do have some things in here that I had previously thrifted. For example, this couch and the coverlet that I threw over the top of it, the Currier and Ives prints that are hanging above the couch, and these vintage suitcases. So between what was free to me, what I purchased secondhand, and what I purchased new, the total for this room came to $399. I think that's an absolute bargain, and I cannot believe that this room costs so little. But I do have an added bonus. Coming up in September, I'll be doing an event locally called Junk in Your Trunk. And vendors come together to sell used, vintage, and antique items, and I've rented a booth for the event. My goal is to make at least $400, bringing the cost of this room to $0. I hope you enjoyed this segment of The Peaceful Home. I hope you'll go out and try some thrifting soon. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.